I'm Keith Bondarchuk, President and CEO of Cosa Resources. We're a uranium exploration company with assets in the Athabasca Basin. We are a new story, but we're led by a team with a track record of discovery success in the Athabasca Basin. Myself, a geologist, spent 10 years at Denison Mines, was there during Phoenix and Griffin discoveries, ultimately moved on to ISO Energy to lead corporate development. Joined that when it was a 30-cent stock. We obviously had the Hurricane deposit and when ended up going up to $6 before I moved on and started Cosa Resources. So what do these three companies have in common? They've all made significant discoveries in the Athabasca Basin in the past 15 years that underpins their current value. What they also have in common is our team played a significant role in all of them during the discovery phases. So NextGen Energy we did corporately, Denison Mines we did technically, and then ISO Energy we did both corporately and technically. Honing in on the team, it starts at the top with our chairman, Steve Blower, who really has an unmatched track record of discovery success in the Athabasca Basin. He's the VP of Exploration at Denison Mines when they found Griffin deposit and expanded Phoenix. He's the VP of Exploration at ISO Energy when they discovered Hurricane. And they went on to help 92 Energy as a director and technical advisor when they made their GMZ discovery. So really an unmatched track record of success, and he's really a lot of the brains behind our current land package, along with Andy. Next up's Craig Perry. He was a founding director of NextGen Energy, a founding director of ISO Energy, and founding CEO of ISO Energy. When he ultimately left, we moved on in 2021. Andy Carmichael, VP of Exploration. He led the ISO Energy team through discovery, but also through their initial resource, which is the highest grade resource in the history of the Athabasca Basin. And then finally, Justin Rodko, who is the final member of that Hurricane discovery team. He's joined us too. So here's our assets. We have 190,000 hectares, all 100% owned in the Athabasca Basin. Our company listed in 2022, then we really put our heads down for about a year, building out the current assets we have. And then it's kind of in 2023 where we felt we're in a good position to really start marketing the story and telling people about what we're trying to do. So what excites us about these projects? So locally, it's very difficult to find these deposits, but regionally, there is a pattern to them. It's almost like a string of pearls where you can map down from MacArthur River down to Griffin, Phoenix, all the way down to Key Lake. And we call these uranium corridors. So we said, in order to set ourselves up best for success, let's just get as much land as we can within these corridors, or at least adjacent to these corridors. They'll hopefully help us towards discovery success. Another interesting thing, though, is that the east side is fantastic in the sense it has a whole bunch of infrastructure. It's where all the current producing mines and mills are, but it's starting to be extensively explored. So we thought to ourselves, where is that next great corridor going to be? Obviously, NextGen and Fission have had success on the west side of the basin, but where is that next great district going to be where there could potentially be multiple deposits? So we knew we had to go deeper into the basin, into the Cable Bay Shear Zone, which is our Ursa Project. It's really potentially the only remaining eastern Athabasca corridor to not yet yield a major discovery. So this is our Ursa project. It covers 60 kilometers of that Cable Bay Shear Zone. So why hasn't there been a discovery made there yet? So really, it's been underexplored. It was held in the 80s and 90s. It was explored a little bit in the 80s and 90s, and then it was held by the French government, Orano, until 2013, where they just didn't get around to doing too much exploration because they're busy in Cigar Lake area and things like that. And then it sat dormant after Fukushima. And so when we took a look at this, we realized, okay, this thing has never seen modern exploration. It's seen about 15 drill holes. And interestingly enough, some of those drill holes actually did hit uranium mineralization. It's 0.2% over 0.2 meters, which doesn't jump off the page in the Athabasca Basin. But what it does show you is a fertile trend. And that's often how you start to find these monsters. That's how we did it at ISO Energy. It's how we did it at Denison with Griffin. And so when the fact that it is a fertile trend really ticked that box for us. And so what we did is we did an extensive airborne survey over top of it, and it exceeded our expectations. We've mapped out 10 target areas that we're defining by basically it would have a potential alteration halo above a structurally complex basement. And that's what we consider these 10 target areas to potentially be. And that really excited us to see it. And one other thing too, they weren't anywhere near the historical drill holes. I think back then they just didn't have the technology to look in those areas, and really budgets were slashed after Fukushima, so nobody had time to get around to it. And so that really excites us, and it will be a top priority for us in 2024. Orion's another project we like. It's a continuation of the trend that comes down from LaRock Lake, which was where we found Hurricane deposit. It's also where the Cigar Lake trend comes east-west across there. So it's really the bringing together of two trends there, and it's a very underexplored area. It's one where we did fly some airborne over the west side of the project, and we did You can see those red squiggles. We did map out an amazing looking target there that we're going to get to geophysically in 2024, then add to the pipeline for 2025. And it's one of those ones where we've managed to expand it here in the last few weeks. We doubled it in size for a pretty good acquisition on our part. And yeah, it's looking good. So it's another project to add to the pipeline. Aurora, this one's right by Key Lake. It's 16 kilometers to the east. This trend was upgraded by the recent success of 92 Energy at ZMZ. It's part of the basin that the east side of the basin, eastern edge, hadn't really been looked at in the past, and now it's really started to get more exciting, and we have a project here that has a lot of open space, and it's one we're going to add to the pipeline to continue to advance. 2024 plans. So we're currently doing ground geophysics at Ursa. We're doing ground geophysics over 5 of those 10 target areas. We're starting to push in the road, and we'll have the drill in there drilling in Q1 2024. We'll also continue to advance the other projects through geophysics, and it's important to speak to that, and we'll always look to kind of add to our pipeline of projects. I think Ursa's looks really good right now, really strong, but in exploration you have to always keep upgrading that pipeline, and that's what we intend to do. Is oddly enough, at ISO Energy, it was our 7th project where we ultimately found Hurricane. So we're always looking to upgrade, and if Ursa's not showing the results we want, we'll move on to something else. But right now it's the one we really like, and we'll be focused on there in 2024. Capital structure. So we just have 46 million shares outstanding. We finished the year with 5 million in cash. I think you could see our share price has started to react to, I think, most people paying attention to our story, but also the uranium market overall. We're still only valued at 25 million market cap, which I think I'll show you the next chart, which is a significant discount, I think, in this uranium environment. 24% are held by management advisors. 21% would be uranium funds. They participated in our last financing in June of last year. And so some of them own 8%, some are 6%, but it was 4 funds that came in pretty early on into our story. So on the bottom left, you can see the chart. That's ISO Energy share price when we hit the high-grade domain at Hurricane. It went from all the way up to $6, and that was in a much worse uranium environment. So a discovery, with a tight share structure, could still make a huge difference. The chart on the right are the current Athabasca Basin companies. You could see that dark blue or black line is the Athabasca Basin explorers that are under 30 million market cap. They have yet to see that appreciation that you've seen go to the Next Gen and Cameco's and things like that, because the capital hasn't gone there yet. Last time we were at $100 uranium, these companies are worth $100 million. So I think we're in a great position here as a company where we're sitting in that undervalued 25 to 30 million. Plus, you work in the fact that we were the last people responsible for that share price chart on the left. I think it creates a very interesting combination for Cosa going forward. So I'll just finish it by saying we're a team that's done it multiple times. We're in the strongest uranium market I've ever seen. We're well cashed up. We're going to have the drills turning within the next month or so. And so it's a great opportunity to get in early on the story with this team. So thank you.